Hi there. We are live once again. So if you're tuning in to this video when it's no longer live, then as usual, look in the description and there will be a link to a timestamp for when the quiz questions start. And you can avoid all this waffle at the beginning. But as usual, I'll take a few minutes to spam the link around. Over there, they can go there. Hello, Pierrot, who remembered to tune in this week. Now, I'm just going to do my usual spamming the link around everywhere. As usual, we'll start about 35 past. And all right, post it on the page, I'll post it on the event. So this week I actually remembered to post the event on Facebook a few days in advance instead of at the last minute or not at all. Even a couple of bucks on boosting the event on Facebook, and there's been quite a few people say they're interested, so maybe we'll see a boost in the numbers this week. Who knows? Maybe not. Anyway, it'd be nice to just have the regulars. Right. So while all that's going on, I posted there and there. I posted on the event. I will post over here. Hello, if you're tuning in, we'll be starting in about 4 minutes time. Wow, I better get my together and spam this link everywhere. Where else do I need to put it? Hello, everybody tuning in. We'll be starting at about 7:35, so about 4 minutes or so. Feel free to grab a drink or something in the meantime. I'll explain how it all works in a couple of minutes. Hello, Simone. I assume you can hear me. As usual, my test is that the little blue light on my microphone is turned on. Hello from Carmen and John. Hello from Elated Matt. Matt just made the yummiest pizza while I ate a not particularly yummy pizza in my car on the way home from work. My habit on a Tuesday night for trivia. Okay, I've spammed the link out everywhere. Unfortunately, I thought I would save time by getting the pizza, but then I realized that it would involve turning onto Cowpasture Road at 5 o'clock, which was not a good move. But anyway, that's done. That's over there. Get all my windows sorted out. Cool. People are liking the link, so people are seeing it. That's good. We'll be getting started in a couple of minutes or so. What was on your yummy pizza, Matt? Wong is playing. Good evening, ads. I love stir fry. I'm assuming stir fry wasn't on your pizza. We might have quite a lot of people tuning in tonight because the Facebook thing had quite a lot of response this week. So if you are tuning in for the first time, hello. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes time, and I'll let you know how it all works in the meantime. Hello, Pierre. Carmen had veggie curry sausages. What was on your pizza, Matt? You still haven't told us. All right, 19 people. That's pretty good. We'll get started pretty soon. Tomato sauce, chicken, red onion, pepperoni, olives, capers, and mozzarella. I am a fan of capers. They're this kind of secret ingredient in a lot of yummy things. G'day, Michael. Hello, Andy Puett, who I happen to know is coming in from the other side of the planet. Good morning, indeed. Good morning if you are on that side of the planet. I'm not sure if that was a YouTube issue, but anyway. Right, so here we are. It's 7:34. Hello, Sphinx 2K. All right, let's explain how this works. So, as you probably worked out, this is basically just pub trivia, but run over YouTube because of COVID and all that kind of thing. So this is not the type of trivia where you need to be the fastest typer in the comments or anything like that. You're basically just playing against yourself or against the quiz or against your friends if you've organized it in advance. So the format is pretty simple. We're going to have 3 rounds. The first round is 20 questions of relatively easy questions. I don't do super easy trivia, but it's relatively easy. I think round 1's pretty easy this week. So that's 20 questions, and then I'll give you the answers to that. You can mark yourself. And then we'll have round 2, which is another 20 questions of less easy questions, and I'll give you the answers to those. And then we have our third round, which is our 10-question round of very silly, very tricky, difficult questions that don't fit in anywhere else, basically. And if you get any points in that third round, then you're doing pretty well. But I think, again, it's not too tricky tonight. I thought there might be a lot of new people tuning in this week, so I didn't make it cripplingly difficult. Andrew Wong says, 20 plus people, is that a record? I don't know. It's going to be pretty close, I think. We normally get about 15 people or so. The Facebook thing did have a big response this week, so hopefully that's good. If you do want to be informed of future events, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, or you can just subscribe to the YouTube channel, or just tune in a bit before 7:30 on a Tuesday night, Sydney time. All right, everyone's talking about lots of food in the comments. If you want to join in the comments, go to the YouTube video. There's comments on the side there. People like to put their scores in and stuff. So anyway, let's get started. It's 7:36. Tonight I'm drinking Wild Yak for no good reason, probably because it was cheap at Coles or Woolies. Let's get started. I know what I haven't done. I haven't opened up my file of questions. I'm going to need that, aren't I? I'll put that there. There we go. Okay. Cool. All right. So just a reminder, you don't need to type your answers into the quiz, into the comments or anything. Play along at home with a pencil and paper, or just do it in your head, or Google the answers if you feel like it. It's fine by me. Okay, let's get started. Round 1. Question 1. Which Beatles' #1 song repeats the title 41 times in the lyrics? So which Beatles' #1 song repeats the title 41 times in the lyrics? Does that make sense? The title of the song appears in the lyrics of the song 41 times. Which Beatles' #1 song is that? Man, everybody's talking about gnocchi and pizza and Caesar salads and all kinds of things in the comments. Making me hungry, even though I've already had dinner. Question 2. Snapping, loggerhead, and leatherback are all types of which animal? Round 1, question 2. Snapping, loggerhead, and leatherback are all types of which animal? Starting off pretty easy. I could always have dinner 2.0, says Pierrot. That's true. Question 3 of round 1. The Red Shield Appeal is an annual fundraising event for which organization? Question 3. The Red Shield Appeal is an annual fundraising event for which organization? As you've probably noticed, I tend to read out the questions twice, just to make sure that you've heard them and you get a bit of time to answer them. At the end of round 1, I will ask if anyone needs any repeated, in case we had sound issues or anything like that. Or if you tuned in late, that's okay. Question 4. Which famous oddly shaped building, the world's largest office building, is found in Arlington, Virginia? Question 4. Which famous oddly shaped building, the world's largest office building, is found in Arlington, Virginia? Elated Matt says, I can think of so many Beatles songs where they repeat the title loads of times. What are you saying? The Beatles are not very inventive? So just run through your mental index of Beatles songs and choose the one that repeats the title 41 times. Question 5. Which classic TV show, which ran from 1970 to 1982, starred Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden, and Bill Oddie? Tim Brooke Taylor sadly recently departed. And this is kind of a shout out to last week when we were talking about classic TV shows. So question 5, which classic TV show, which ran from 1970 to 1982, starred Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden, and Bill Oddie? Pierrot says, I can think of no Beatles songs. Come on, I don't care how young and trendy you are, you must have heard of some Beatles songs. Question 6. Which part of the body is affected by glaucoma? Question 6. Which part of the body is affected by glaucoma? Glaucoma. Glaucoma. Simone says she's a Rolling Stones girl. Nothing wrong with the Stones. I have to say, if I had to pick one band to be my favorite, it would have to be Pink Floyd. It's just the way it is. They always have been. I always think it's a better question to ask someone, what's your second favorite band? Because everyone has like their default. I don't have to think about it. That's my favorite band. It always has been. It always will be. Yada, yada. Fine. But if you ask them their second favorite band, then you generally get something they've been listening to recently or they've discovered since, they're at a later stage in their life or whatever. It's usually a more interesting answer. For me, I think it might even be like Radiohead. Anyway, question 7. Which Australian boxer was known as the Marrickville Mauler? Question 7. Which Australian boxer was known as the Marrickville Mauler? Pierrot has just typed the word rubber into the comments. I don't know why that would be. Ad says, I don't think I have a favorite band. That's an interesting position to take. I wonder if that's because of Spotify and things like that, where it's less band oriented and more just sort of continuous algorithmically generated streamy stuff. Okay, what are we up to? Question 8. Which action camera company, I could pretty much stop the question right there, but anyway, which action camera company was founded by Nick Woodman in 2002 and has been valued at over $3 billion US? Question 8. Which action camera company was founded by Nick Woodman in 2002 and has been valued at over $3 billion US? Hello, Nex Ventor Gaming. It's not that kind of quiz. You don't need to type the answers into the comments. You're just keeping score yourself. So I read out the questions and then I have a little break and then I read out the answers and you see how you went. So you don't need to type it into the comments. But that's cool. Question 9. Which major city used to be called New Amsterdam? I have to say this is quite an easy round one. Question 9. Which major city used to be called New Amsterdam? I think Nex Ventor Gaming has just realized that he doesn't need to play trivia in that way. That's good. There's a lot of new people in tonight. Hello, if you're tuning in for the first time, good to see you. I imagine you're responding to the virtual Aussie pub quiz thing on Facebook, which is good. Feel free to like that Facebook page if you want to be informed of future events. Question 10. What is the name of the McDonald's character who takes the form of a large, clumsy purple blob? Question 10. What is the name of the McDonald's character who takes the form of a large, clumsy purple blob? Someone on the page is asking, how do I join? You join by clicking the link on the page. But I will send you the message. I will send you the link via chat. There it is. Enjoy. Someone else has commented. It's all going off in Facebook land. Okay, what are we up to now? Question 10 was, what is the name of the McDonald's character who takes the form of a large, clumsy purple blob? Question 11, in which Australian movie do prized possessions get sent to the pool room? Question 11, in which Australian movie do prized possessions get sent straight to the pool room? Classic movie indeed. Hello to Narelle and Stephen. Right, question 12. Which river... Hey, look, it's a geography question. Question 12. Which river divides the city of Budapest into what used to be the two separate cities of Buda and Pest? So question 12. Which river divides the city of Budapest into what used to be the two separate cities of Buda and Pest? I guess it's a bit like Albury-Wodonga. It's divided by a major river. So is the city of Budapest. What is the name of that river? Telling dreaming. That's right. What were they bidding on? Skiing poles or something? Question 13. Which bank was formed by the merger of the Bank of New South Wales and the Commercial Bank of Australia in 1982? Question 13. Which bank was formed by the merger of the Bank of New South Wales and the Commercial Bank of Australia in 1982? Jousting sticks, that's right. Not skiing poles, jousting sticks. It was such a great movie. I've actually been to Bonnie Doon when I was coming back from playing hockey in South Australia. I went past Bonnie Doon. There's not a whole lot going on there, but there is a service station with a sort of cafe in there, and they do make a Serenity burger. I resisted the urge to have it. Question 14. What was the name of Jason Donovan's character on Neighbours? Question 14. What was the name of Jason Donovan's character on Neighbours? It's a little bit 80s centric tonight. We've had a classic TV show. We've had a bank merger, and now we've got Neighbours, all very 80s. Easy quiz, James says, from Pierrot. It is easy, relatively. Question 15. Which important national day is celebrated on the 6th of February every year in New Zealand? Question 15. Which important national day is celebrated on the 6th of February each year in New Zealand? Hello, Caroline. It's the vibe, man. Ellie Demet says that in New Zealand they celebrate his son's birthday on the 6th of February. I think that's probably not the answer. Well, we'll see how the scores go at the end of round one to see whether it was easy or difficult. Question 15 we just had. Question 16, the word zwei in German means which number in English? That's Z-W-E-I, zwei. The word zwei in German means which number in English? I guess it means the same number in German, really. Numbers are kind of universal, but they have their own names in languages. Anyway, that seems a lot more profound than it really is. So question 16, the word zwei in German means which number in English? It's the vibe, it's Mabo. Question 17, what do sumo wrestlers sprinkle into the ring before a match to purify it? Question 17, what do sumo wrestlers sprinkle into the ring before a match to purify it? I'm sure Pierrot is jumping up and down because we finally have a question about Japan, which will make him happy. What are we up to? Question 18. Apart from water, what is the main ingredient of the Eastern European soup borscht? What a great word, borscht. Question 18. Apart from water, what is the main ingredient of the Eastern European soup borscht? And I think we're spelling that B-O-R-S-C-H-T, borscht. Andy Pruitt says, I should know this. Could be about any question, really. Question 19. We're nearly at the end of round one. Question 19. Martin Sheen has two famous sons. One is Charlie Sheen. Who is the other? So question 19. Martin Sheen has two famous sons. One is Charlie Sheen, but who is the other? Excuse me, been kind of pizza beer burp happening. Andrew Wong says, I can't spell this one. Again, could be about any question. Kat says, my dad makes a delicious borscht. Haven't had it since he walked out when I was 5. Holy cow. That took a left turn. Okay. Sorry, that derailed me in the middle of that sentence. All right, question 20, the last question of round one. Then we'll have the answers, and then we'll start round two. So question 20, which of these is not a real Australian place name? So it's multiple choice. Which of these is not a real Australian place name? Is it A, the Mid-Intercourse Islands, B, Titibong, or C, Brown Willie? Question 20. Which of these is not a real Australian place name? Is it A, the Mid-Intercourse Islands, B, Titibong, or C, Brown Willie? I'll give you a minute or two to think about those. Andy Pruitt says, surely this is a trick question. I don't know why I'm swirling my beer. Is it a one of those chunky beers that has chunks in the bottom? No, it's perfectly normal plain beer. So just running through question 20 again. Which of these is not a real Australian place name? Is it A, the Mid-Intercourse Islands, B, Titibong, or C, Brown Willie? All right. That's the end of round one. We will shortly have the answers to round one. And then we will have round two. Makes Rooty Hill seem tame. Yes. All right, let's start going through the answers to round one. Unless anybody needs any of those repeated or clarified or are tuned in late. If you did tune in late, you can sort of answer as I go along through the answers. Oh, why is my phone flashing a light at me? Because people are talking on the Facebook page. If you do want to be informed of future events, go to Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz on Facebook. There you go. Okay, let's go through the answers to round one. Andy Pruitt says, what was question 2? Question 2 was, snapping, loggerhead, and leatherback are all types of which animal? Okay, now we're definitely going through the answers to round one. Question 1 was, which Beatles' #1 song repeats the title 41 times in the lyrics? It is Let It Be. The answer to question 1 is Let It Be. Question 2, snapping, loggerhead, and leatherback are all types of which animal? They are all types of turtle. Snapping turtles, loggerhead turtles, and leatherback turtles. Question 3, the Red Shield Appeal is an annual fundraising event for which organization? That is the Salvation Army. Question 4, which famous oddly shaped building, the world's largest office building, is found in Arlington, Virginia? The answer is, of course, the Pentagon. Next, Ventor Gaming says, shit, I said donkeys. Yeah, the old snapping donkey. You got to be careful of those. Question 5, which classic TV show had Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Gardner, Bill Oddie? It was, of course, The Goodies. Kitten Kong, classic stuff. Question 6, which part of the body is affected by glaucoma? The answer is the eyes, but I would also accept the optic nerve. But as long as you said the eyes, the optic nerve, something to do with vision, that's all fine. Question 7. Which Australian boxer was known as the Marrickville Mauler? That was Jeff Fennick. Question 8. Which action camera company? And I can basically end the question there. The answer is GoPro. Thanks to Next Ventor Gaming for that one. Question 9. Which major city used to be called New Amsterdam? You know the song? Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Yes, it was New York. Oh, sorry, it is New York. It was New Amsterdam. Now it's New York. Question 10. Excuse me. Question 10. What was the name of the McDonald's character who takes the form of a large, clumsy purple blob? That is Grimace. Grimace. Question 11. In which Australian movie do prized possessions get sent to the pool room? That is The Castle. Andy Pruitt says, the answers all sound so easy after you say them. Such is the nature of knowledge, my young Padawan. Question 13, I should say 12. Question 12, which river divides the city of Budapest into the two halves? It is the Danube. Question 13, which bank was formed by those two banks merging in 1982? It was, and is, Westpac Banking Corporation, or just Westpac. Question 14, what was the name of Jason Donovan's character on Neighbours? It was Scott Robinson. Scott Robinson. I guess you can have half a point if you got half of those right. Question 15, which important national day is celebrated on the 6th of February each year in New Zealand? That is Waitangi Day. It celebrates the Treaty of Waitangi, which is basically to do with the Maori national title stuff. It's kind of a big deal over there. Question 16. The word zwei in German means which number in English? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, etc. It is the number 2. Zwei means 2 in English. Question 17. What do sumo wrestlers sprinkle into the ring before a match to purify it? Salt. They sprinkle salt. Seems like a bad idea if you're going to be rolling around on it. But anyway, I guess they know what they're doing. Spell Waitangi, please, says Pierre. That is how you spell it. You have spelled it correctly in the comments. It is Waitangi. Waitangi. Question 17 was salt. Question 18, apart from water, what is the main ingredient of borscht? Just ask Kat M's dad. It is beetroot. Is borscht the one they serve cold? Can't remember. Answers on a postcard. Question 19. Martin Sheen has two famous sons. One is Charlie Sheen. Who is the other? The other is Emilio Estevez. Martin Sheen's original name was Ramon Gerardo Antonio Estevez. Charlie Sheen's real name is Carlos Erwin Estevez. But the answer to question 19 is Emilio Estevez. Norel says either hot or cold, which I assume is about borscht and not Antonio Estevez. Emilio Estevez. Question 20. Which of these is not a real Australian place name? Was it a trick question? Not quite. So the options were A, the Mid-Intercourse Islands, B, Titibong, and C, Brown Willie. The answer is C. The Intercourse Islands are near Dampier in Western Australia. Titibong is in Victoria, of course, but Brown Willie is actually the highest point in Cornwall in the UK. So it's not in Australia. So C is the answer to question 20. Woohoo, says Andy Poo. I assume Brown Willie is a big mountain, I'm guessing. Pierre says, yes, got Brown Willie. That's not a sentence you should shout. Okay, let's get started with round 2. Actually, tell me the scores. How did you go? Andy Poo got 8.5 out of 20, which is a new record. How many times have you played before, Andy? Ads 13, Caroline 12, Simone 16. And we know that Simone is our ringer, so that's a good benchmark of a good score. 14 from Elated Matt. Andy Poo says, I've played once before. 10 from Kat, 16 from Sphinx 2K. What's happening on the Facebook page? Peter says 17. The Ranger Ringer. As a fellow Ranger, I'll allow it. I have a message from Facebook ads. I don't care. Go away. 11 out of 20 from Pierre, 12.5 from Michael, 14 from Kim, and -1 from Next Ventor. I don't know how you managed to get a minus point, maybe for saying the answer to GoPro in the comments. C got 11.5 and J got 13. I need to improve my knowledge of Aussie culture and McDonald's mascots, says elated Matt. Okay, well, let's see how you go in round 2, which is traditionally a little bit more difficult, but I think overall it's a fairly easy round tonight. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how we go. It's always hard to judge those things. But let's get started. Round 2, question 1 is Snugglepot and Cuddlepie are characters created by which Australian author? Snugglepot and Cuddlepie are characters created by which Australian author? Stephen got the geography question wrong. What? I don't think Brown Willie counts as a geography question, but we did have the Danube. Okay, question 2 of round 2. Which part of the body does a nephrologist specialize in? I still have my stupid wristband on from work. Question 2, which part of the body does a nephrologist specialize in? Nephrologist, nephrologist. I loved Snugglepot and Cuddlepie, says Simone. Well, I'm assuming you know who was the author of it then. I think that person was not just the author. I think that person was also the illustrator. Look. I'm typing it in wrong. Why do I do this to myself in the middle of round? Okay, let's go up to question 4. Nope, question 3. Which French shoe designer makes shoes with a signature red lacquered sole? Question 3. Yes, the person who did Snugglepot and Cuddlepie was an Australian children's author, illustrator, and cartoonist. Question 3 was, which French shoe designer makes shoes, I don't know why I'm reading that like it's a tongue twister, with a signature red lacquered sole. So the sole of the shoe is red. It's kind of the I don't know, trademark, I guess you'd say, or signature of this person. French shoe designer. Caroline says, I've never heard of them. And Narelle says, the river, thumbs down. Oh, that was the one that Stephen got wrong. Okay, question 4. McLaren Vale is a wine region in which Australian state? Question 4, McLaren Vale, M-C-L-A-R-E-N space V-A-L-E, McLaren Vale is a wine region in which Australian state? Question 5. By what title do we know Jorge Mario Bergoglio? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Question 5. By what title do we know Jorge, or possibly George, J-O-R-G-E, Jorge, don't know. Middle name Mario, spelled as you expect, and surname Bergoglio, B-E-R-G-O-G-L-I-O. G-O-G-G-O, no. Question 5, by what title do we know Jorge Mario Bergoglio? That is question 5 that I am reading out right now, Sphinx. Question 6, Schiphol Airport, S-C-H-I-P-O-L, Schiphol Airport, serves which city? Sphinx says George is pronounced Jorge. I know with the now retired motorcycle racer Jorge Lorenzo, it's pronounced Jorge. But possibly it's a regional thing. Anyway, question 6, Schiphol Airport serves which city? Not the Dart. I always think it's the Dart. Question 7, which type of bread loaf takes its name from the Italian for slipper, as in the footwear? Question 7. Which type of bread loaf takes its name from the Italian for slipper, as in the footwear? Okay, everyone's now doing the Gogomobile ad in the comments. I can't remember who that was an ad for. Obviously some insurance company or something. GG. Question 8. The Tower of London is traditionally protected by which animals? Question 8. The Tower of London is traditionally protected by which animals? And I'm not, okay, humans, for the purposes of this question, humans are not animals, although they obviously are. To question 10, the Tower of London is traditionally protected by which animals? And I don't mean humans. I went to the Tower of London. We're getting a slight anecdotal sidestep here. Many years ago, and they have the Beefeaters who give you a tour. And those people are, as far as I'm aware, volunteers. They're not actual soldiers. They're like old dudes. And they walk you around and they say, here's the thing, and here's this thing, and this is where this happened, and whatever. And then the final bit of the tour is they take you into the chapel, which is like a very small building with only one door. So everyone files into the chapel, and then the Beefeater stands by the door at the end and he says, yada, yada, this is the chapel. And that's the end of the tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. And everyone starts filing out. And in the UK, there's not really a tipping culture. It's a bit like Australia. They don't really have the tipping culture. But what inevitably happens is that someone in the queue early on hands over like a £2 coin or a £1 coin or something, just as a cheers, mate, to that guy. And then everyone's like, oh, hang on, while we're doing the tipping thing, okay, everyone's getting like a £1 or £2 coin out. And it's like, 50 people in this tour group, probably even more. And these guys are doing this thing like 4 or 5 times a day. And I started to wonder, if I was in that position, I'd probably pay someone or have a mate or have one of my co-workers be at the front of the queue to give the first tip to encourage the tipping behavior. Because those guys are making a fortune out of those tours. Anyway, it's one of those things popped into my head when I saw the Tower of London. What are we up to? Question 9. In Roman numerals, which letter signifies 1000? Question 9. In Roman numerals, which letter signifies 1000? Question 10. Which artist released albums titled with the symbols for plus, multiply, and divide? Question 10. Which artist released albums, that's a musical artist obviously, released albums titled with the symbols for plus, multiply, and divide? So the title of the albums was the symbol, like the plus sign, the multiply sign, and the divide sign. There's 3 albums. Slightly confusing question. I assume you pronounce the name of the album. You'd have to be the word for plus, multiply, and divide. Anyway, question 11. The name of which goldsmith is associated with making decorated eggs for the Russian court? Question 11. The name of which goldsmith is associated with making decorated eggs for the Russian court? What is happening on the Facebook page? Many things. Go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, if you want to be informed of future events. It's gone very quiet in the comments. Everybody's reeling from my Beefeater story or thinking very hard about the last few questions. Question 12. In a standard Australian electrical plug, which lead is colored brown? I guess this is multiple choice. Is it active, neutral, or ground? Excuse me. Question 12. In a standard Australian electrical plug, seems like something we should probably all know, which lead is colored brown? Is it active, neutral, or ground? Presumably there are standards that control this kind of thing, so people should know. Question 13. Which science fiction author established Scientology? Question 13. Which science fiction author established Scientology? Probably his best-selling book, I imagine. Oh, God, there's all these messages. What's going on? Good. Question 14. Which of Shakespeare's plays begins with the words, "Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York"? Question 14. Which of Shakespeare's plays begins with the words, "Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of York"? Caroline says, I don't know, haha, I only know UK plugs. Well, do you know Shakespeare plays about sons of York? Question 15, as we're getting close to the end of round 2, which word beginning with N for Nelly? What is the NATO phonetic alphabet? N. Answers on a postcard. Which word beginning with N for Nelly is the opposite of a zenith? Z-E-N-I-T-H, zenith. Which word beginning with N for Nelly is the opposite of a zenith? November, says Sphinx 2K. Thank you very much. So question 15. Which word beginning with N for November is the opposite of a zenith? Question 16. Which Italian is the patron saint of animals? Are we developing an Italian theme in this round? I think we might be. Question 16. Which Italian is the patron saint of animals? Well, the plug one, it's a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right. And if you get it wrong in this question, you won't die, which you might do if you get it wrong in real life. Question 17. Which 1997 film portrays the career change of 6 Sheffield steel workers? Question 17. Which 1997 film portrays the career change of 6 Sheffield steel workers? Very good, Pierre. Question 18. Who performed the world's first heart transplant in 1967? Question 18. Who performed the world's first heart transplant in 1967? Is it the first one or is it the first one that was considered successful? I know the first few artificial hearts were not particularly great. History. Okay, the world's first human-to-human heart transplant was performed. Okay, fine. Yep, good. So, yeah, question 18. Who performed the world's first human-to-human heart transplant in 1967? And question 19. In 1986, which former Australian Prime Minister was found in the foyer of a Memphis hotel, lacking his trousers and appearing confused? Question 19. In 1986, which former Australian Prime Minister was found in the foyer of a Memphis hotel, lacking his trousers and appearing confused? Right. And question 20, the last question of round 2. Michael says, I met him once. He had his trousers on there. Fair enough. Question 20. The Himalayas span 5 countries. You know what I'm going to say. For half a point each, please name the 5 countries. Now, it's worth pointing out that there are sub-ranges of the Himalayas that extend into other countries, but we only want the 5 countries the actual, proper, real Himalayas go through. So, question 20, the Himalayas span 5 countries. For half a point each, please name those 5 countries. Still haven't got a name for my hat yet. My mysterious Marley purchased hat. And I still haven't found my Ushanka, which is my very nice, very warm rabbit skin Ukrainian hat. No, hang on. Uzbekistani hat. It's kind of Russian hat, but anyway. It was bought for me by the same friend who bought me this hat. It's very warm. It's very nice. It's ridiculously warm, in fact. And I haven't been able to find it. I would like to wear it for trivia, but anyway, I have to keep tidying up. Okay. Cat is confident she'll have at least 2 points this round. Andy Poo's hoping for 2 points this round. Davy Jones says, do annexed states apply for question 20? As far as I know, they're all countries. All countries, real countries. Okay. Does anybody need any of those repeated? I guess I should ask before I start going through the answers. No? We'll push on to the answers. So round 2, question 1, the answer. Snugglepot and Cuddlepie are characters created by which Australian author, illustrator, and cartoonist? It is, of course, May Gibbs. Kim would like question 17 repeated. Question 17 is, which 1997 film portrays the career change of 6 Sheffield steel workers? All right, so round 2, question 1, the answer was May Gibbs. Question 2, which part of the body does a nephrologist specialize in? The answer is the kidneys. Question 3, which French shoe designer makes shoes with a signature red lacquered sole? That is Christian Louboutin? Christian the Frenchman? Louboutin? Man, my pronunciation is not good. I just remembered something about question 2. Nephrologist is the kidneys. So we call adrenaline, it's called adrenaline because it comes from the adrenaline glands, which are called adrenaline glands because they're adrenal. They're above renal. They're above the kidneys. Americans call adrenaline, I think it's epinephrine, for the same reason, but they're using the name, so it's epi above, and nephron, which is nephrologist, nephron, the name for the kidney, same thing. Adrenaline, epinephrine, all to do with the organ being located above the kidney. Fascinating stuff. Anyway, question 4, McLaren Vale is a wine region in which state? South Australia. Pierrot has said Hausa Cap. Is that the name? Hausa Cap. Kind of. Why is that not working? Yeah, that looks more sort of a woven kind of a thing. Question 4, McLaren Vale is wine region in South Australia. Question 5, by what title do we know Jorge Mario Bergoglio? It is, of course, Pope Francis, or simply the Pope. If you said the Pope, that's fine. Well, people are liking my adrenaline epinephrine fact. Question 6, Schiphol Airport serves which city? It is Amsterdam. Not New Amsterdam, but good old-fashioned Amsterdam. Question 7, which type of bread loaf takes its name from the Italian for slipper, as in footwear? That is a ciabatta. C-I-A-B-A-T-T-A. Ciabatta is the Italian word for slipper. I guess because the bread loaf is big enough to put your foot in and kind of round and long and soft. I don't know. Question 8, the Tower of London is traditionally protected by which animals? It is ravens. If you said birds, yeah, whatever, half a point, but it's specifically ravens. And there's a whole thing that if the ravens ever flee the tower, then the monarchy will fall. There's a whole thing about it. So they're very protective of the ravens. Question 9, in Roman numerals, which letter signifies 1000? It is M. Elated Matt says, an impressive 0 of 5 so far. Question 10. So question 9, it was M for Mary. Question 10, or Mike, I should say. Question 10, which artist released albums titled with the symbols for plus, multiply, and divide? That is Ed Sheeran. Fellow ginger Ed Sheeran. Andy Put says, thanks for throwing this level 1 question in there. Was that the Roman numerals one? Don't know. First point, says Cat. The Ed Sheeran question. Really? Question 11. The name of which goldsmith is associated with making decorated eggs for the Russian court? You must know this one. 11. The answer is Fabergé, as in the Fabergé eggs. Question 12. In a standard Australian electrical plug, which lead is colored brown? Is it active, neutral, or ground? The answer is it is active. In Australia, the active line is brown or red. Neutral is blue or black. And earth is usually green with a yellow stripe. So if you have a lead with a brown wire, it is the active wire. Question 13. Which science fiction author established Scientology? That was L. Ron Hubbard. That's the letter L, then Ron Hubbard, but whatever. If you wrote phonetically L. Ron, that's fine too. Question 14. Which of Shakespeare's plays begins with the words, "Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by the son of York"? It is, of course, Richard III. What if we missed the L? I think for an author, if you had Hubbard, I think that's fine. No, I think if you get the surname right, that's fine. It's pretty clear who you meant. Question 14, which of Shakespeare's plays begins? We already did that one. Question 15, that was Richard III, by the way. Question 15, which word beginning with N for November is the opposite of a zenith? That is a nadir, Nadir. You have your zenith and you have your nadir. Man hands misery onto man. It deepens like an ocean shelf. Anyway, let's not go down that road. Question 16. Which Italian is the patron saint of animals? St. Francis of Assisi. Question 16. The answer is St. Francis of Assisi. And Assisi is a town in the province of Perugia in Italy, in the Umbria region. So there you go. Elated Matt says, I'm having my nadir right now. Could have been Mother Hubbard then. Yes, if you think that the fictional character Mother Hubbard was the science fiction author who established Scientology, you can have that point out of sympathy. I think with something where you're saying an author or a given person, as long as you indicate you know who it is, if you just say Hubbard, that's generally accepted. If it's a character that you've got to get exactly right, yeah. Anyway, the Quizmaster's always right. Shush. Question 15 we already had, 16 we already had. Question 17, which 1997 film portrays the career change of 6 Sheffield steel workers? That is, of course, The Full Monty. The Full Monty. Everybody's shouting at each other now. Question 18. Who performed the world's first heart transplant in 1967? And as we established, that's the first human-to-human heart transplant. That was Dr. Christian Barnard. Dr. Christian Barnard is South African doctor. I don't even know what's going on in the comments now. Question 19. In 1986, we're back in the 80s again. Which former Australian Prime Minister was found in the foyer of a Memphis hotel? If you look up on his wiki page, it's simply called the Memphis Trousers Affair. That is, of course, Malcolm Fraser. He was found in the foyer of the Admiral Benbow Inn, wearing only a pair of underpants and confused as to where his trousers were. Well, we've all been there. Question 20. The Himalayas span 5 countries. For half a point each, please name the 5 countries. They are Bhutan, China, India, Nepal, and Pakistan. Bhutan, China, India, Nepal, and Pakistan. So, as I said, some of these sub-ranges of the Himalayas extend into Afghanistan, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. like the Hindu Kush, and there's a few other locally named things, but they're not the actual Himalayas. The Himalayas go through Bhutan, China, India, Nepal, and Pakistan. Right, that's the end of round 2. How did you go? 3.5 points from Pierrot. 7 from Ads. I guess maybe that was a bit more difficult. Pierre wants to know 1 each or half each. For the Himalayas countries, that's half a point each. Otherwise, it blows the game theory out the window if you happen to be good at geography. Kat got 2. Caroline got 11. Michael has a very florid description of how his round went. Andy Puett got 4.5. Sphinx got 22 out of a possible 21.5. That's impressive. Actually, I don't know what the total score is. And Andy Puett said it was 21.5, but it can't be really. If we had 20 questions and we had 2.5 points available in the last question, I guess that is 21.5, isn't it? Yeah. There were no other bonus points. Anyway. Lady Mac got 14. Kim got 17. Sphinx really got 11. Davey got 13. 16.5 in that one, says Simone, but she knew the Himalayas. Pierre got 9.5. And Sphinx allegedly had a typo. Narelle 12. Stephen 13.5. You've got to give us the running scores, Narelle. I don't remember what you got in the first round. Okay. So that wasn't too bad, I think. Now we'll get on to round 3. There's a message, and it is from Peter, 18.5. You've got to jump in the YouTube comments there, Peter. You're killing it. Okay, let's do our round 3, which I don't know why there's a blank space there. Typo for me too, says Pierre. I actually got 23. All right, round 3. And remember, this is our quite difficult round. C4, J13 from Carmen. Youch. Yes. Pierrot's total since the beginning of quizzing starting is probably 24. Okay. So yes, round 3. Again, I don't think it's too difficult this week, but it's where I put all the questions that don't really fit in anywhere else. So they're sort of silly or very specific or very difficult or trick questions. Anyway, here we go. If you get any points in this round, you're doing pretty well. So question 3, round 1. Which popular chocolate bar introduced in 1930 was named after a horse? Question 1. Which popular chocolate bar introduced in 1930 was named after a horse? Don't know how difficult that one is, really. Question 2. What is the largest country in the world in terms of area that has no ocean coastline? Ooh, that's a good round 3 question. Question 2. What is the largest country in the world in terms of area that has no ocean coastline? I'll let you think about that one for a minute. So the keyword is ocean coastline. Says Andy Puett. Think about that one. This question 3 is one of those ones you either know or you don't, so we can move straight on to that. Question 3. In 1993, with his first ever ball in an Ashes test, bowler Shane Warne produced a delivery that has been remembered as the ball of the century. Which batsman was bowled out by that delivery? Question 3. In 1993, with his first ever ball in an Ashes test, bowler Shane Warne produced a delivery that has been remembered as the ball of the century. I looked it up on YouTube. They really do call it that. Which batsman was bowled out by that delivery? Pierre says, now that's an easy round 3 question with an emoji of a cricket bat and ball. Question 4, LG, Lima Golf, LG is a large South Korean manufacturer of household goods and other industrial products. The name LG comes from the initials of its former name, which was what? So, LG, they make fridges and TVs and air conditioners and whatever, but they also make like defense equipment and power generation units and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, LG, they used to be called something else, 2 words starting with L and G, and now they're just called LG. Like IBM is not International Business Machines anymore, it's just IBM. So LG used to be called something. What was that something? Kat says, oh yeah, I get 1 point this round. And I'm going to tell you, because people have put it in the comments, it's not Life's Good. I think that's just one of their advertising slogans. That's not the former name of the company. Caroline says, I think I'm on 0 this round. Well, it's only question 4. We've still got 6 to go. So question 5, this might be your specialist area. Who knows? Question 5, what was Victoria Beckham's maiden name? Question 5, what was Victoria Beckham's maiden name? I know it wasn't Posh or Spice. Question 5, what was Victoria Beckham's maiden name? See, I can tell what answers you're going to put down before you even put them down. I knew someone was going to write Spice. Question 6, which British army officer united the Arabs to fight against the Turks in the First World War? Question 6, which British army officer united the Arabs to fight against the Turks in the First World War? Question 7, which fits my criteria of a question that you don't know the answer to, but you can work it out, which makes it a good trivia question. Which letter of the alphabet does not appear in the name of any chemical element on the periodic table? You knew there was going to be a periodic table question in there. We nearly made it to the end of round 3 with that one. But no, here it is. Question 7. Which letter of the alphabet does not appear in the name of any element on the periodic table? Round 3. It's meant to be tricky. Right, question, what are we up to? 7. We just had question 8. Around the year 2000, many Indian cities underwent name changes. For example, Bombay is now known as Mumbai. Calcutta is now known as Kolkata. What is the city of Madras now known as? Question 8. Around the year 2000, many Indian cities underwent name changes. Bombay is now known as Mumbai. Calcutta is now known as Kolkata. What is the city formerly known as Madras now known as? Andy Pruitt says the element name or the name name. I don't understand your question. I mean the name of the element. Yeah, the name of the element, like iron or gold or uranium. Question 9. I'll be impressed if you get these. Question 9. Lake Burley Griffin in Canberra was created by damming which river? And for a bonus point, what is the name of the dam? Question 9. Lake Burley Griffin in Canberra was created by damming which river? And for a bonus point, what's the name of the dam? Okay, thanks, says Andy Pruitt. Good. Glad we worked that out. And question 10. What unfortunate nickname is given to the NASA aircraft used to introduce astronauts and invited guests to the feeling of zero gravity by repeatedly diving and climbing? Question 10. What unfortunate nickname is given to the NASA aircraft used to introduce astronauts and invited guests to the feeling of zero gravity by repeatedly diving and climbing? So it goes like this, and as it's falling, you're falling with it. You have zero gravity, and then you get to the bottom, and it goes, and you get squished into the bottom all the way back up again, and then you have zero gravity again, and then you. Sounds like loads of fun. I have to say, though, there is video of NASA taking cats on that plane, and cats do not cope well with zero gravity. They have no idea what's going on. Okay, that's the end of round 3. So we'll do the answers to round 3 in a minute. I'll give you a chance to think about some of those. Some of those are a bit tricky. So question 10 is what unfortunate nickname? I'm sure it has an official name, but it also has an unfortunate nickname that everybody calls it. So after the answers to round 3, we will have our Who Am I, which you can use as a tiebreaker. Well, I've got an easy one and a more difficult one. And I know if I do 2, then it kind of defeats the purpose of having a tiebreaker, but I'm kind of tempted to do 2 anyway. So let's go through the answers to round 3. Actually, let's just have 1 minute of Facebook maintenance. If you want to be informed of future events, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, or just tune in a bit before 7:30 Tuesday night, Sydney time. Sphinx says, Who Am I's remind me of Sale of the Century. Fair enough. All right, answers to round 3. Question 1. Which popular chocolate bar introduced in 1930 was named after a horse? It was Snickers. Snickers, that's a great name for a horse. And not a bad name for a chocolate bar, I suppose. Question 2. What's the largest country in the world that has no ocean coastline? Slightly tricky question. So in the past, the answer would have been Mongolia. But since the collapse of the USSR, it is Kazakhstan. So its borders do cross the Caspian Sea and the Aral Sea, but both of those are just inland seas. They're just big lakes, essentially. They're not oceans. So the answer to question 2 is Kazakhstan. Andrew Wong guessed Mongolia. Unfortunately, you've been wrong for about 20 years. Question 3. In 1993, Shane Warne bowled out some guy. Who was the guy? It was Mike Gatting. Mike Gatting, Gatting. It's also known as the Gatting ball, and it signaled the revival of leg spin bowling when previously pace bowling had dominated. Don't know what any of that means, but if you look it up, it's worth looking up. You got to remember this is Shane Warne's first ever ball that he's ever bowled in an Ashes Test, which is kind of a big deal in cricket. And you watch it, and it's like everyone just goes, "How did he do that?" And the batsman's out. Question 4. LG is a large South Korean manufacturer. Actually, so after all that, the answer to question 3 was Mike Gatting. So question 4, LG is a large South Korean manufacturer. The name LG comes from the initials of its former name. What was its former name? It was Lucky Gold Star. So you might remember Gold Star, like televisions and microwaves a million years ago. Lucky Gold Star was the name of the company. And they realized that was probably a bit cheesy, so they just became LG. Lucky Gold Star. Okay, what are we up to? Question 5. What was Victoria Beckham's maiden name? It was Adams. She was Victoria Adams. Adams. Question 7. Which British Army officer united the Arabs to fight against the Turks in the First World War? That was T.E. Lawrence, more commonly known as Lawrence of Arabia. I'm sure you've heard of him. Lawrence of Arabia or T.E. Lawrence, either is fine. famous motorbicyclist, among other things. Question 7, which letter of the alphabet does not appear in the name of any element on the periodic table? Slightly contentious answer for this one. The correct answer is J for James, but that's correct, Cat, J. You might be thinking, but what about Q? So Q has been used on quite a few elements recently as a sort of temporary holding name for, like, element 114 was unilcardium, and etc. So Q does appear on the periodic table, even though it's not an official name of an element. Anyway, if you said Q, you can have a point. All right, why not? But J is the actual answer. Question 8. Q was my first guess, but then changed to J. I'm so smart. Excellent. Question 8. Around the year 2000, many Indian cities underwent name changes. Madras is now known as Chennai. Madras is Chennai. 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 Geranium. Question 9. Lake Burley Griffin in Canberra. There was a bonus point available here. So which river did they dam? It was the Molonglo River. Molonglo. Molonglo River. So that's the first point for question 9. And the bonus point was, what is the name of the dam? It is the Scrivener Dam. Scrivener. Scrivener. The Scrivener Dam, named after the surveyor Charles Scrivener, who I assume surveyed Canberra or the river. So the answer to question 9 is the Molonglo River, and the bonus point is the Scrivener Dam. And question 10, the last normal question of the night. What unfortunate nickname is given to that NASA aircraft where you go flying up and down and zero gravity, etc.? It's nicknamed the Vomit Comet. I'm sure you can imagine why. You spend a couple of hours flying up and down, you're going to feel pretty unwell, so they call it the Vomit Comet. Pierre says, where's the Posh Spice answer? It was Adams. That was question 5. Victoria Beckham's maiden name was Adams. All right. Let me know how you went in round 3. Peter says he got 8 in round 3, which I have to say is pretty amazing. Lilia has liked the link. Hello, Lilia. David Jones got 3. Simone got 3. Ed's got 4. Andy Pooh got 3. Pierre Rott guessed the poop chute. That would be a very unpleasant nickname for a plane. The Vomitron. No, it's called the Vomit Comet. Caroline got 1. Simone. 2 people thought it was Vomitron. Let's have a look. Do I really want to Google the word Vomitron? Let's find out. No, the Vomitron is a spinning ride thing. Even if I look up Vomitron plane, let's have a look. No, the Vomitron seems to be something to do with flying into tunnels or something, flying into storms or something. No, it's called the Vomit Comet. Sphinx got 4, Kim got 2.5, Pierre got 4, Simone got 35.5 overall out of however many points there were tonight. Lady Mac got 32. I know there's that the Gravitron is that thing that you stand on and it spins and you kind of get pinned against the walls and you can turn upside down, all that kind of stuff. It used to be the Gravitron back in the day. Used to tour all the sort of shows, the country shows. All right, so that's the end of round 3. Now we move on to our Who Am I's. I have 2 tonight. One is relatively easy, one is less easy, maybe. I don't know. 25 total from Pierre, pretty good. Had to go on a Gravitron last year in the UK. I haven't been on a Gravitron since I was a kid. The thrill of roller coasters is definitely something that you lose interest in as you get older. I have discovered. Still happy to do lots of crazy things, but roller coasters, man, I just start thinking about bearing tolerances and maintenance schedules and Norel 4, Stephen 5, total Norel 33, Stephen 32.5, half a point again. Stephen, wasn't it half a point last week? Man, I got to make like a double point bonus round, geography round. Awesome. Okay, let's go through the who am I questions. These you can use these as tiebreakers if you like. The way that works is if you're in a tiebreaker situation, I'm going to read out facts about a person, and when you think you know the answer, have a crack at it. If you get it right, you win. If you get it wrong, you lose. The other person wins. So you want to be fast, but you need to be correct. And then I'm going to mess up the whole game theory by having two of them anyway. So if you're in a tiebreaker and each of you gets one right, then you have to settle it with pointy sticks or something. I don't know. All right, so let's get started. Who am I? I was born in 1988 in Tottenham in England, graduating from the Brit School for Performing Arts and Technology in 2006. I was given a recording contract after a friend posted my demo on MySpace. John 28, Carmen 15, Sphinx 31. Dave, you got 28. Okay, people are arguing about roller coasters. Let's keep going. In 2007, I received the Critics' Choice Brit Award. And in 2008, my debut album was released to critical and commercial success, being certified 7 times platinum in the UK and 3 times platinum in the USA. My second album, in 2012, earned a record-tying 6 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. My third album became the best-selling album of 2005. All right, calm down. Jeez. I was named Billboard Artist of the Year in 2011, 2012, and 2016. Unusually, my albums are named for my age at the time of release. So in order, they are simply titled 19, 21, and 25. With the full name, I'm not going to say the first name, but the rest of my name is Laurie Blue Adkins. I am more commonly known by my first name, which is simply Adele. I am Adele, who did, among other things, one of the Bond themes, as I recall. Yes, Caroline got that one pretty early on, I have to say. So that was the easy one. Let's see how you go with the less easy one. Peter sent an A while ago and just sent Adele. Okay. All right. Last one. Here we go. Who am I? Should be more difficult. I was born in Scotland in 1773. I was educated in astronomy and mathematics at the University of Edinburgh. I joined the British Army in 1798 and had a distinguished career in Flanders, the West Indies, Spain, and North America. I served under the Duke of Wellington and was promoted to Major General. On the recommendation of Wellington, I was appointed Governor of New South Wales in 1821 and held that position until 1825. While governor, I tackled the many problems of a rapidly growing and expanding colony. I reformed the currency and improved the land rights system. I was the first president of the Philosophical Society of Australasia that would later become the Royal Society of New South Wales, the oldest learned institution in the Southern Hemisphere. I was the first patron of the New South Wales Agricultural Society and conducted experiments growing tobacco, cotton, coffee, and flax. I remained a keen astronomer for my entire life. In 1823, I sent John Oxley to find a new site for convicts who were repeat offenders. Oxley found a large river flowing into Moreton Bay. Oxley suggested that both the river and the settlement be named after me. Today, Australia's second largest city is on this site and bears my name. I am Sir Thomas Brisbane. I am Sir Thomas Brisbane. A few people were guessing MacArthur as we went through there, but no, not McIntyre, not MacArthur. I am Sir Thomas Brisbane, or Brisbane, as the Americans would say. Pierre's just randomly typing words, beginning with Mac now. Okay, hope you had fun. All the extra people who tuned in tonight, nice to see you. We do this every Tuesday night. You're welcome to come along. Brizzy, that's an excellent question. Today's second largest city is on this site. I don't think Brisbane is the second largest city in Australia. I think it's still Melbourne. Who wrote that who am I question? Whole thing's been thrown into contempt. Brisbane is the capital of and the most populated city in the Australian state of Queensland, the third most populous city in Australia. There you go. It's not second. Maybe it's Sir Thomas Melbourne. Anyway, no, Sir Thomas Brisbane. I think it was pretty good until the very, last sentence of that one. But that's interesting. I don't know why I had that there. All righty. Hope you all had fun. And hope to see you next time. Stephen wins. He got Adele first. It wasn't strictly a tiebreaker, but if we do award a full point for that question, then he does get. It's a question for the umpires, I think. Okay, so see you next week. If you tuned in tonight for the first time, you had fun, come back next week. Tell a friend. And we will see you next week. Bye. My mouse is not working. While I'm still here, yes, tune into the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. Like that page to be informed of future events. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the one you're watching this on now, or just tune into the page a little bit before 7:30 on a Tuesday night, Sydney time. Bye-bye.